What's up, everybody? We are back on another episode of Pound for Pound. I am the Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C.
A Shadowline production.
El Triple C. Man, it was a busy weekend for fight fans. Busy weekend. UFC Noche took place last night with a banging main event of the evening. You had Diego Lopes taking on Jean Silva. Two guys on the collision course right now. Two guys that have definitely, have been just kind of soaring to try to get to the top of that division. Diego Lopes just challenged for that title. And let's be honest, this fight was kind of set up to where Jean Silva gets past Diego Lopes. Jean Silva is probably fighting for that title, or definitely on the short list to fight for that title next, Henry. But it was a fantastic fight. Back and forth here. Jean Silva had his moments like he does in fights. And unfortunately, towards the end of that second round, he took a spinning back elbow, which eventually led to Diego Lopes getting the finish and stopping Jean Silva. Henry, how did you see this one?
Yeah, no. It was one. We gotta go back. Let's rewind everything. I mean, a lot of this stuff starts off with words. You know what I'm saying? People start to build fights, create storylines, but sometimes you wonder how many people are actually good at it and how many people are willing to not be distracted by it. You know what I'm saying? Like Jean Silva started the whole barking and things like that, and that's fine. But now you're going up against a higher level opponent, man, with Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes has already fought for the belt. He's fought Volkanovski. He's gone. He's had a close fight with Iloyev. He's beaten Brian Ortega. He's fought higher level competition. So the only reason why I bring that up, Kamaru, is because sometimes you got to think of the psychological, dude. So I wonder if sometimes that pressure kind of gets to people. But on the technical side, he got kicked, man. He got calf kicked throughout that first round, throughout that second round as well. I mean, Jean Silva threw a roundhouse kick where Diego was able to grab him, take him down, eventually start the ground and pound, fatigue him with the grappling first, beat him up, and then the second round started, and he started chewing up that leg again, where it forced Jean Silva to actually go in there and actually fight him. Because as you know, Kamaru, when you get your leg hurt, dude, the only option that you do have is you got to turn the fight into a damn fight, like a legit fight, a fist fight. And that's what he did. And unfortunately, he came in straight, and Diego Lopes just saw the emotions in him and the fact that he was just trying to hurt him, and he threw that elbow, and that's pretty much all she wrote.
Right. I mean, it was an incredible back and forth. I think you are right, Henry, because this one had a lot of built up, there's a lot of stuff there going into this one. With a guy like Jean Silva, obviously on the rocket ship that he's been on, and the barking and whatnot, and just his whole persona, it's great. It's been working. But for some reason, Diego Lopes kind of gets a bad rep because I believe he still trains in Mexico or not, or he was there for a while. So it was almost like the Brazilians kind of shun him like, oh, you're supposed to be Brazilian, you're supposed to be riding with us. But it's almost like they feel like he rides more with Mexico.
Yeah, but hold on, Kamaru. What I am to Mexico, Diego Lopes is what is to Brazil, dude. No, but kudos, man.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point.
But kudos to him too. I mean, if that's how he feels, and it's all good, man. I was just talking to David Taylor right now, and we are just talking how it's different when you're an Olympian, and particularly an Olympic champion. He was saying that it's hard for him to coach other guys internationally because they're not American. Anyways, go ahead. Just give me your 2 cents.
It could be something there. It could be something there. I see where you're going with that. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm sniffing what you're pooping.
I'm going to be too long of a story, but go for it.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like Diego Lopes kind of gets that I don't want to say hate, but he kind of gets that blowback from whenever he fights. And this one was technically Brazilian versus Brazilian, but I'm sure the Brazilians probably felt Brazilian versus Mexico. But he stayed composed. That was a big thing here. He stayed very poised. He, like you said, he was landing those calf kicks, and I think he landed maybe like 3 in the first or 4 in the first round. they definitely slowed Jean Silva down. And then some in the second round, you can definitely tell they were starting to take a toll. But even Jean Silva is just a monster. He was able to still shake him off. He started throwing combinations, landing some big shots. Well, he threw feet to the face, kick to the body. He threw hands, both fists. He threw a spinning elbow. He was really out there using all 8 limbs in this fight, and he got really close with some of those strikes. But Diego Lopes stayed poised, was able to kind of catch him coming off the cage with that back elbow, dropped him, got on top because he did do some damage, like you mentioned earlier. In the first, he was able to get on top. It was the first elbow he dropped on him, cut him, and then just was doing work. He really wore him out quite a bit there. Man, it was incredible fight. But I mean, Diego Lopes just kind of showed that he's still just a little levels above because he was still able to stay poised. He took some big shots. He didn't get too rattled. He didn't get crazy. He stayed relaxed. Even when Jean Silva started getting crazy, hunting for those finishes, he stayed poised, was able to catch him with that spinning elbow and put him away for good. And this one, and there was a little bit of back and forth, Henry, after the fight, right? Look,
Yeah,
that
well, it
looks
looks like
respectful.
he's
I
confronting him.
think,
Like, hey man, your guy talked a lot of shit. I mean,
yeah.
you guys are doing X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah. Yeah, the fight's over, but I get it though, man. Sometimes the fight's over, but the fight ain't over.
Sometimes the movie's over, but the movie ain't over.
Yeah,
There's still
well, we
credits
don't know.
coming
We're
up,
just coming
right?
to conclusion. But what I will say, he did get on top of that cage,
He did get
and he
at the end of
said,
the fight. He
"Hey,
got on
you
top
guys
of that
come and
cage.
eat this."
He said, "Oh
Yeah, I mean, it is
yeah,
what
oh
it
yeah."
is.
He
Like
gave it. Yeah, he gave it to him.
the beautiful birdies.
Henry, this is now three three big losses in a row for the fighting nerds. And this is their three big superstars right now. I mean, what do you make of what we're seeing right now from that team, the fighting nerds?
Yeah, no, well, they're just getting they're reaching the top 10. They're fighting the top 10 to some of them are fighting the top five fighters. It changes tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about it. I feel like they need to bring more coaches. I feel like as our team continues to keep growing, more fighters are going to come, and it could get diluted. But this is where, them as a team, they have to come together and see what is it that we could do strategically on their training, so they can so everybody can get the same attention. So I mean, I personally think that I think they need to bring in a wrestler, a legit wrestler, and then maybe even bring training partners to come in to do that. I mean, I was there. There's a lot of Brazilians, a lot of people from different parts of the world, but I don't see any Division One wrestlers and things like that. For Kyle Boralho, for his takedowns, adjusting those to actually get them. For Mauricio Hoofy getting off from bottom. From Jean Silva also getting off from bottom. I mean, he got rolled, dude, on the bottom, and obviously with Carlos Prates, I felt like he did the best out of everybody, but he also got controlled. He got packed up on the feet a little bit by Ian Gary, and he also got wrestled for some of those rounds. So I feel like that's going to be some of the keys and tactics for a lot of people. So you're going to have to watch out, man. I feel like I go back to Gene Silva, and I think every time he fights, he gets emotional. He starts crying. So when you get an emotional human being that is typically like that, like they typically just want to be your friends. So I just sometimes wonder if the persona is just a little too much.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there because I think Jean Silva is as crazy as they come when he steps inside that octagon. I don't think he's trying to be friends. I think he wants to rip your head off. I do agree with you though. The level of the competition starts to change now that they're stepping in there against a top 5, top 3, top 10. So yes, level of competition starts to change, and that's what we're seeing because when you get up there, the guys are a lot more well-rounded. So if you're not as well-rounded, you will potentially get exposed. And I think that is what we're kind of seeing. But I also do agree with you, Henry. Yes, they have an incredible team. I think they could add to that team, and that's probably someone to work on the wrestling for them, because I think having that wrestling background is something that Caio Borralho could have utilized in getting those takedowns in that fight, which I think could have potentially uh, helped him and blew that fight away. With Carlos Prates, the fight that he did lose to Ian Gary, of course, Ian was really good at just moving away, and then maybe drop down, get a takedown, control him, and whatnot. So, and then the Mauricio Hufi fight, Saint Denis was just all over him. Once he got him down, he was able to just kind of punish him down there. So I do think these guys would definitely benefit from a wrestling coach. You've been out there, Henry. You've worked with them. I'm sure. Did you put in your resume to go out there and be their wrestling coach and get them to the next level?
No, I think it'll just help, dude. That's all I'm saying. I think moving forward, man,
All
they're going to need that. You guys have Craig Jones, dude, 3-time NCAA champ as a coach. I mean, that shit makes a difference. You know that, Kush.
Yeah, we had Greg at one point. We had Kenny Monday at one point. We had Mike Van Arsdale at one point. Babak at we definitely, that our team. I think that our foundation was when we were the Black Zillions was hot. I think our foundation. The one thing that they did very well is Rashad Evans made it a point for us to have a wrestling coach, because obviously Rashad is a wrestler as well, but he made it a point for us to have a wrestling coach, and also with our owner Glenn Robinson at the time, they wanted us. We had to have a wrestling coach because everyone knew our stand up was so good at that time because of our coach Henry Hoof. When you saw Thiago Silva go out there, everyone knew his stand up was crazy. You saw Anthony Johnson go out there. You saw Michael Johnson go out there. Everybody knew these dudes was coming to bang. And so we made it a point to make sure our wrestling was up to par. And I agree with you, Henry. I think this is something that the Fighting Nerds could utilize, is getting a good wrestling coach out there and continue their progress, because I think they're a fantastic team. Of course, they've made a lot of noise in the last year, made a lot of noise, winning all the awards. I mean, nowadays you gotta be able to sell merch, and that I know that team move merch. I think even the UFC store has the nerd glasses now, so these boys moving that merch out there. You feel me? So I think they're doing a great job. Like as you saw, Carlos Prates just bounced back versus Jeff Neal. So I think these guys will be back. I think they just need to go back to the drawing board, fix a couple things, and they'll be back. But Henry, across the pond, we also had a banging. What was it? The fight of the decade. They were saying once in a lifetime was the tagline for the fight. Once in a lifetime, Canelo Alvarez took on Terrence Bud Crawford, and we saw what happened. Henry, I'll let you take it away. Let me know where you at.
Yeah, I think there was a lot that we could learn from both of them. I think there's something that Terrence Crawford did very well. He did not allow he did not allow Canelo to get inside, man. Like as soon as Canelo would get into that certain range, he would jab him. He would jab him, and then occasionally he would go low. Canelo Alvarez could not pop his he couldn't get inside because pretty much Bud, he's a southpaw, and I feel like Terrence Crawford, I feel like Canelo Alvarez had problems with with southpaws, but not just that, dude. It was the range of what Terrence Crawford had, dude, and not just that, man. Terrence Crawford was actually countering Canelo Alvarez quite a bit. So as Canelo would throw, he would just sit there, wait, block, and then boom, an uppercut or a right hand. Another mistake that Canelo was making too is he was throwing like one shot, and then he was coming back squared, and that's when Terrence Crawford would actually catch him. We didn't see any like lateral moves where he would throw and maybe push off to the side, as we used to see Canelo Alvarez as what he would do in these fights. Allegiant Stadium, there was a lot of people there. Terrence Crawford had the ability to fight backwards and stay composed, good defense, hands was always up, countering everything that Canelo was throwing at him. He was just a little more active fight. I mean, looking at the fight, bro, like it was competitive. Canelo did hit him to the body, but it was pretty much all Terrence Crawford, man. I don't know how many rounds I actually gave Canelo, but I want to see a rematch. I want to see a rematch because Canelo did mention, oh, I didn't feel good. Like my body was just, it wasn't reacting. My mind wanted to, but there was something physically with my body that it just felt different. So, but overall, I mean, boxing tends to put these big events. These fights don't show out like the UFC. But other than that, Canelo, Terrence Crawford was able to make history, becoming a five weight class world champion, unified the 68, I believe, 40 and 47, I believe. But other than that, man, history was made. I mean, Terrence Crawford is, you could almost go back and say, all right, man, it's time to call Terrence Crawford again, once again, pound for pound.
Well, I agree with you. I do think Terrence Crawford is pound for pound best boxer right now in the world. Whew. I'm looking at the fight, Henry. I agree. Like the thing is, boxing is. I feel like because MMA now is so big and it's so out there that everyone expects these fights to look like that, and that's not the case. And I will say this, Henry, boxing has changed significantly in the last 2-3 decades, significantly, to where you watched two of the best fighters. You watched Sugar Ray go in there, and you had Marvin Hagler. You knew what was happening. These men was willing to risk it all out there to perform, to put on a performance. They were willing to risk it all. They were willing to they leave everything out there, to where the sport has changed now, to where I don't want to say it's it's gotten soft. No, not at all. I think the fighters have gotten smarter now, to where now after all those times we see the ramifications of all those the traumas and all the wars that those fighters were in. And so I think now fighters are seeing that, and fighters are smarter, to where we're not just going in there going into a slugfest like that anymore. The fighters are now more calculated. They want to definitely try to land the shots and move and not get hit and not get countered. So you see that more and more. So we can say, does that make for a more exciting fight or not? Probably not, because when people think fight, they want their dose of violence. Like we saw in one of the fights leading up to the fight. I think it was Martinez versus the Cameroonian in Billy or something like that. That fight was a tremendous fight. I mean, you could hear the crowd cheering as that fight was going on, because them boys was going. Them boys was going. The main event didn't exactly deliver like that. These boys was going. I mean, I'm watching the fight. I'm hyped up. Martinez and Billy, I'm hyped up watching these boys go to work like this. And it ended up, that fight ended in a draw. I think everyone in that stadium would love to see this fight again. That's how big these men came out, and they made a name for themselves. They went out there and definitely showed up. So yes, I think that's the fight that people were expecting, but you just didn't get that from that main event, because they were very calculated and they're super smart fighters now. So that's why you're not getting those Tommy Hitman Hearn versus Hagler or Sugar Ray, and you're not getting fights like that anymore, because these fighters just fight different.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I do like it. But like overall though, Kamaro, like what Dana White is doing to the sport of boxing, I mean, he could really change that stuff around, dude. Like they had the same formats, they had an embedded, they had early weigh-ins for them. These guys were able to get a lot more recovery time because they woke up early in the morning to actually win, and then they did the ceremonial. I felt like it's a new stage for President, for President Dana White, man. Doing it on Netflix, dude, and having all these celebrities from what is it? Irvin Michael, Magic Johnson, Mike Tyson, Mr. Beast. I mean, Sofia Vergara. I mean, they had everybody at that damn
Bruh, all
event.
right, all right, all right, all right. That's what you was worried about? You was looking in the crowd, wondering who was there? You was like, oh,
Yeah, it was just
Sophia
maybe see
there.
you in the fifth row. I don't know where. I don't know what row they put you on. I know I went the front row, Kush. Last time I saw you,
Or we gonna bring that up? Why are we bringing up old stuff,
I
Henry?
gas to, dude.
Why
I
are we bringing up
gas
old
to.
stuff? But Henry, I do agree with you though. Like Canelo, I'm looking at the assessment and I'm just trying to break it down from a fighter. Obviously, Canelo's great. Like I said, one of the greatest Mexican boxers out there, if not the greatest. And don't come for me. I know there's a risk. Chavez is up there, of course. Salvador is up there, of course. I know that, but I'm just saying, you know, um, Canelo has changed a bit. He changed a bit, Henry. And I saw some things, and like I tell you, Henry, when I go into fights or I'm watching these fighters and how they fight, I'm looking at the spirit. I'm looking at their hearts. I'm looking at their energy. That's what I really judge a fighter based on. And Canelo has changed to the point where, of course, he did some things that was uncharacteristic for him. I think I've heard, he's might have had some knee issues previously. He might have had a couple of little surgeries previously, but it didn't look like it was all there. The footwork wasn't there for Canelo. Canelo just seems to, I'm just going to try to walk you down like I walk everybody down. And once I walk you down, I'm going to throw a big shot to try to see if I can get you to stand there. And if you don't do that, I have to chase you again. He wasn't throwing combinations. He wasn't using his footwork. He rarely ever used a feint. And I would like to know how many jabs he threw. Seven. By round 11, Canelo has only thrown 7 jabs. Like how you
Yeah,
as a world champion, the pound for pound previously, how you can't win a fight like that? Definitely not a boxing fight, and that's why I think he got outboxed. Just because Terrence Crawford was using the footwork, Terrence Crawford was using the feints, Terrence Crawford was turning them, Terrence Crawford was throwing combinations and countering. Yeah, it was kind of an
yeah.
easier fight to score, Henry.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing that I would say with Canelo is because he stalks so much, he doesn't know how to really like inch himself in or fake his way in with somebody with that speed of Crawford, and particularly him being that southpaw. So every time he would get into that jab range, boom, the jab was coming. So he was able to. So Terrence was able to keep him at bay, but he's gonna have to discover some of that stuff. He's gonna have to maybe even, and I'm not gonna be racist right now, but he's probably gonna have to get a black trainer, man, for some time. Like he has to,
Wow.
because Mexicans box different. Mexicans box, and the reason why I
Wow.
say that is
Really?
because De La Hoya, yeah, De La Hoya to pick up his skills and to understand a lot of his competition, he got
He started
Mayweather.
eating
Yeah,
chicken.
he got
I mean,
Mayweather's dad. You know what I'm saying?
and
Like this is real,
watermelon.
dude. And in order for you to understand, a black fighter, dude, you gotta get a black coach for a minute. You can't just go Mexican all the time. So that's my 2 cents on that. But other than that, what do I think is next
2%.
for and hear me out here, Kamaruddin. You know who I think is next for Terrence Crawford? What I would like to see is now that he beat and dominated Canelo Alvarez, I
Who?
would love to see Terrence Crawford versus the Mexican monster David Benavides.
I
Not too
knew it was
much.
coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
He was at
Oh
68.
my
He was the number
God.
one. He was the mandatory for Canelo.
Oh
Canelo,
my God.
what's
Relax.
up? The scariest guy in the division.
He's not in the division.
He
He's
said he,
not
he said he said he could still make 168 pounds. Dude, the
he's
reason why
not
he was up because
making
nobody wants to fight him.
he's not making 168. And that come on. Like that, yeah, no. He's doing big things at that next up. He's not making 68. That's a big dude. And to be honest, Terrence Crawford's 37 years old. Terrence Crawford's our age. Yes, of course, he still has a lot of life left if he chooses to, but he just got that check. At this point, You've what 41, 42 and 0? Man, I don't know what there's. I don't. Is there a name that you think about it, Henry? Is there a name that's going to get you excited for Terrence Crawford to fight someone right now? Who is there? Someone out there that you could say, yes, this makes sense?
I think at 54, I think the next best thing, if he doesn't fight again, this is my opinion. 68, the Mexican monster at 160 pounds, fight the number one contender, fight the current world champion there. So that
Who's
means
that?
you went from I have no idea. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So
I have no
that
idea
makes
who's
no
there,
sense.
but it's not about that. It's about merit, dude. It's about could I become a sixth division world champ, tie Oscar De La Hoya, and then challenge yourself. Could I get to the generational talent, as he said, with Manny Pacquiao with eight? He's an eight division world champ. I tell you what, I didn't believe that Terence Crawford could do that. Neither did you.
You know, Terrence Crawford is the only three division undisputed world champion.
Yeah.
So what else do I what else do I need
Of
to?
the new era.
Yes,
Remember the new era.
of the four belt era or two or four belt. Like what? Who? What else do I need to prove? He's already made history. He has nothing else to prove. Of course, we want to get that check. So if
Yeah, but
there's
it's not
another
about
big
proving
fight,
Kamaru. It's
now
not
take
about
it.
proving. It's about merit. Could I continue to just find this world title? Remember, dude, in boxing, it's 5 pounds. It's 154 pounds, and then next weight class, it's
Hey,
160.
hey,
You
it's a
know?
money fight. I'm here for the check, for that money now. He's the best of this generation, of this decade. So if you're not, I'm not getting paid well for this. Why am I fighting these dudes? For no reason. No. I'm not. I'm sure training camp is difficult for these dudes. Like we know how training camp is for us. So why would we put ourselves in that situation if you ain't gonna reap the benefits of it? So nah, man. If it ain't no big name, Terrence, hey, do what you do, bro. Do what you do. It's
Yeah.
all good. But for Canelo, where does Canelo go from here, Henry?
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing what you're talking about. When Canelo has all the money, he needs to rematch. If I'm Canelo, I want to rematch Terence Crawford. I hope he put that in the clause. I wouldn't mind seeing it because yeah, he got schooled, bro. Like he got outboxed, dude, by Terence Crawford, and I know that he's itching to get that one back. And I know the first time he fought Triple G and he lost, he came back the second time and he legit beat Triple G. The first one, I thought Triple G got it, and it was a draw, I believe. The second fight, I'm like, dude, that was all Canelo. Canelo came out a lot stronger, so I guarantee you, bro, he's itching for a rematch. If the clause is in there okay, so no, Terence
I
Crawford
don't
does not have a rematch clause
I
for
don't
this
think he should.
fight with Canelo Alvarez,
Why?
and
This is
it's
a once in a lifetime fight. It doesn't need to be a rematch because as much as like I said, I love Canelo. Obviously I love Bud too. I think Bud probably would do worse the next fight. I think he would put it on Canelo a little worse than that because I think some of what we saw from Canelo is just what he's has to resort to now to fight. Maybe he's dealt with some injuries to where he's not as mobile as he used to be, which I'm not counting anybody out. But from what we're seeing, it's just the pattern that he's put himself in for the last, what, 6 to 8 fights? Because that same pattern is why Bivol was able to get him. And so I just don't think I just don't think the way that style of fight, I don't think he beats someone like Terrence Crawford. No. And I think Terrence Crawford is going to be more confident next time, knowing that I can punch with this guy. I can counter punch with him. I can take his shot. I'm faster. I'm a bit longer. He was even look bigger.
yeah, the
So
defense. The defense was the key too, Kush.
yeah,
Like if it was the defense and the counter punching from Crawford, dude.
right.
He would stay in the pocket. He fought
Hmm.
Canelo Alvarez, dude.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He didn't do what the last dude did, just run. Like this dude legit fucking he threw at him. I'm like, I'm gonna call your bluff, bro. I'm gonna fight you until I can.
right. Well, and one thing that he was doing every time I saw that every time he got small, he kind of got hit. But when he stayed big and he stayed in there with the tight defense, and he was the bigger, taller man, Oh, he was having a lot of success because Canelo was almost smothering his shot because he couldn't stay at range with him. See, it's just single shots, hook to the body, hook to the head, straight to the head. And Terrence Crawford runs off counter combinations, two, three shots, and then turns them and moves. So
Two, three
I
shots and
think,
forget.
yeah, I think I think he would do, it would be a wider margin if they fought again. But if I'm Terrence Crawford, of course I'll fight him again. Yeah. Boy, this time I'm the A side.
My just for Canelo, add another trainer to your camp. Uh, and just train with the southpaw. He never did Crawford switch stance or do anything. He stayed southpaw the whole time because he was having success. He was blind to that jab, dude. Teach him how to. He needs to inch in a little bit better and also attack going straight to the body. He's got to really switch up gears, man, a little bit. Like be better at inching in and then throwing. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where Crawford was just catching him as he was coming in, or allowing him to throw and then catching him. So these are my adjustments if I'm Canelo Alvarez that watching this fight that I think that I would do.
Yeah, it's just not the Canelo we're accustomed to because we've seen Canelo throw a 5 to 7 punch combination, and the fourth or fifth punch hits you and gets you out of there. So it's just, I think it's whether it's just the training camp or whether it's just maybe injuries and things like that that just kind of is taking its toll. Even there was one time, Henry, he threw a right hand. He was so off balance. He was almost like that right knee was almost kind of given. Now, maybe I read too much into it, but it just looked like
Is that because of are you saying that because of your knees?
nah. I mean, I listen. I gets it in. I do what I do. When I'm in there, Lee or no knee, it doesn't matter. I'll make it happen, you know? But it's just no, but you see this, but you Henry, you see him, once he gets in his stance, he kind of stands right there. He just stands it. He stands right there to where he doesn't have to be mobile. But he threw a couple right hands that and this and let me Henry, before we go, I want to say something.
There's like a moment of wait,
Yes,
right, where he's there and he sits there a little too long. Then that's kind of what I'm trying to
right.
say. Is like he needs to inch into that line and bah, and then either add a fake or do something. But he's staying in that borderline a little too long to where he just got jabbed. He just got pushed back. You know what I'm saying? So I agree 100%.
Well, one of the most important things to me that I saw in this is I've never seen Canelo in the position where he's at now to where he's starting to kind of complain a little bit. He's starting to kind of look away in the fight, starting to kind of lose focus in the fight. I never seen that before. To where not only that, he's kind of seems like, oh, I'm losing the rounds. You know, he turns his face, he turns his head. And on top of not only that, in between rounds, you see him wanting to shake hands, wanting to touch gloves, and it was almost like he wasn't locked in. And then there was moments even before after the weigh-ins where he's congratulating Terrence, just saying thank you for making the fight happen. Good luck tomorrow, whatever that he said. We never really see that from him because when you in the shit, you in the shit. You know, like Terrence Crawford was in the shit. Terrence Crawford ain't wanted to take no hands. He was not about that. He was not about that. I'll shake your hands after I'm done. And that was something that I saw from Canelo's spirit. I don't know whether it's because he's, at the age now where he's starting to kind of really soak all this in and know that the end is coming near, or there was just something there that mean-spirited Canelo wasn't there. I mean, I could be wrong, Henry, but that's just what I was seeing because that's what I look at.
Yeah, his love of golf. I mean, De La Hoya brought up a bunch of points. So sometimes people hate, but sometimes they know a little bit more than we do. And particularly a guy like Oscar, he says, "Yeah, dude, this dude plays golf like every day. He's like Justin Gaethje. They fall in love with something else, and they stop giving attention to something that they actually, make a living off of. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of factors, bro. And plus, too, it's not even his age, Kamaru. It's the fact that he's been pro since he was 15 years old. Canelo has been fighting professional. He's 35. He's about to turn 35 for 20 fucking years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Kush, I mean, I would be telling you, I would be lying to you if I told you that I don't get sick of what I do too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many times did I retire?
Oh, you're sick of what you do.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Like,
Why you
it's just a
bringing up old
business.
stuff?
It's just a
Right,
business. No,
right,
it's
right.
just a business, dude. It's a lie where it's, oh yeah, I love what I do. Like, bro, you don't. It's not always like that. Love is just, it's when you win. You love what you do. You know.
Well, we do like to win. That's for damn sure. We love to win. We,
It's been a minute, but yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But yeah, moving on. Uh, well, I just yeah, like we said, Henry. I don't know where Bud goes from here. I think we just kind of see if there's a fight that presents itself. Also with Canelo, I mean, I heard, I think I heard Canelo signed a multi-fight deal with Turkey and Riyadh season. So I don't know. I think there's more fights in there for him to get done. I don't know what else he has to prove.
But then check it out this way too, bro. Because of Canelo losing, they might give him tougher fights. They might say, hey, let's book David Benavidez with you. Let's book X, Y, and Z to build the next guy. Now think about it, Kush. You got to think about. You got to think. You got to see the business side of it. You know,
Well, the only way I see
they
that
may want to use
happening
Canelo
is
to build
because
somebody.
they'll now Canelo. I don't think one. I don't think Canelo's the type of guy that builds people. Two, uh, the only way I think that truly happens is if Dana is involved. Dana can push that to make sure these fights happen. Because if he's not, and that's not the case, then I think it's just going to be what it's been. Canelo's going to pick. This is the mandatory challenger for this one. All right, I'm going to fight that guy, and I'm moving on. But I, if Dana's not involved, I think that's what's going to happen. So, hey, we'll wait and see. I'm anxious to see where they go from here. But it was an incredible event, and you can see it. Dana did some. They made some changes there. It was an incredible event to where the next fight was coming up. We knew it was coming up. It was still a little bit of time, but hey, the next fight came up. The production was on point. Dana did a phenomenal job. Dana and the team. Let me say that phenomenal job. Like I could kind of pick little things that were happening here. You know, the ring girls. You saw Red, and you saw what's her name, Chrissy, I believe. There, money. You saw some of the staff, UFC staff. There, money. You saw the production, how things were moving, how things running. So Dana came in and he definitely cleaned up some things to where it got that show going. And you can tell the people that were there live were thoroughly entertained. I loved it. I don't know, Henry. I hope you loved it, but I should have got one of them boxing fights back then, man. That's old stuff. That's old stuff. I ain't gonna bring it up. That's old stuff. I'm not bringing it up because you said you wanted one too. You wanted who'd you want? Ryan Garcia? That's what you said you wanted.
I didn't want Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia sent me a message, bro, that he wanted to fight with me. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's sell it. And then I started going in on him. They got serious.
Oh, so you didn't want no smoke with him in boxing like that.
No, no, it's not that. It's just that I wasn't thinking that. You know what I'm saying? Like
What
he's the
was
one that approached me. He's the one that sent me a message. He's like, "Hey,
so
dude,
you
don't
would have
retire, dude.
you would
Let's
have
box, bro. I like your hands."
so you would have gave him some smoke?
Oh, 100%. Dana, I wasn't Dana's fave, dude. I wasn't Conor McGregor. You know, so he
Hmm.
put a stop to it. But I would have, if Dana would have approved it, dude. Me and Ryan would have been fighting for sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't. He didn't want that, dude.
Well, before we go, Henry, this was I believe the third event, boxing event that has been done on Netflix, third or fourth. How did you see the whole stream? I mean, what was there any challenges and things like that you saw? I watched it after the stream, so I didn't know how the stream was live.
Yeah, I mean, no, I same thing, dude. I'm actually in Europe right now, so I was able to watch the fight Just didn't really watch the whole streaming. I just watched the fight and that was it. Out here at the Wrestling World Championships. I'm gonna be out here for a good week. That's why I'm in another place. I'm in Croatia. So yeah, man, that's what it is.
Well, I mean, it was a fantastic weekend of fights. I mean, incredible to see Dana step into the world of boxing and actually kind of come in and clean up some things that we were seeing. Not only that, it was incredible to kind of see how they were able to mix the broadcast team there. It seemed just seamless to me. You had we saw the return of Max Kellerman back into a boxing, calling a boxing fight. Of course, the always classy Brainiac in Andre Ward, former pound for pound champion, and of course our boy John Anik was sitting there doing his thing as well. I thought it was a great mix, Henry. I thought it was a great mix. Listening to them go, it was definitely a really good flow, good team. And I care about stuff like that, obviously, because I work on the desk. So, how did you feel about that before we go, Henry? Like that commentary booth. How did you feel about that? Did you like the mix?
I thought it was too many chefs in the kitchen.
Mm,
And I feel like these guys, it shouldn't be the first time for them working. They had a bunch of different analysts in there, just different viewpoints. But it's almost better when you get the chemistry where the guys who, the only person who has ever boxed pro is Andre Ward out of those three. No offense to any of them, but I always like to hear from those who have come before us or those who have actually done it. I just feel like they need a little more synergy, man. You know who I like a lot, bro? I like Roy Jones. I think you get Roy Jones in there with a guy like Andre Ward, and then maybe just pick one of those other color commentators. I think that's the way you do it. I grew up watching boxing prior to the UFC, and I personally feel like they could work on their chemistry. That's all, man. I'm not hating or throwing shade. It's just
no,
different. It's like with the UFC, like when you get Joe Rogan, DC, and John Anik, bro, like everybody's in sync. And that's one thing that I probably will say is like, hey man, there's just a lot of the Max Kellerman would just fucking go on. He would honestly just rant a little more than what I would like. I would like to hear a little bit more from a boxer like Andre Ward, the former pound for pound. So that's just my 2 cents, Kush.
yeah, I don't.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I wouldn't say you're wrong. I thought they did pretty well for on in that commentating booth. I thought they did okay. I thought the interview, Max, this being his return back to boxing, I thought that the interview portion, I think he could have done a little bit better on. But hey, with practice, with reps, comes the he's going to get better with more and more reps. So yeah, I thought it was okay. Andre Ward is always he's so good at this now. He can do that in his sleep. But all in all, shout out to our boy John Anik. John Anik killed it as always. I thought I was watching a UFC fight out there the way John Anik was going. Man, he was killing that thing. But Henry,
You glazing?
you gonna call me out? All right, all right, about that. All right, Henry. But my man, it was an incredible weekend of fights. Great boxing event, and also UFC Noche delivered as well. Man, I can't wait for the next one. But Henry, as always, you know who I am, man. You know I'm the Nigerian Nightmare, the man with the plan. Mm. The Nigerian Nightmare, Kamaru Usman.
Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C.
We are out.